we go. There she is.
Okay, there she is. Okay. So to everyone who is here, this is Jennifer. Jennifer, is it Santanello is your last name too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, how are you doing today?
It's actually not been the best day. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So how did you start this particular TikTok page because of Layla, or have you always had, like, no?
This was my TikTok page. It was my regular TikTok page. And if I had it to do over again, I would have made a separate one. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really even use TikTok that much. If you look back before I started with the first Layla video, I think the beginning of August, my videos were all like little clips of me working out, and I had about 500 followers. Yeah. And the same 30 people would comment on my stuff, and I would comment on theirs, and we were just sort of giving each other motivation.
I remember those days as well.
Mm-hmm. And I liked it that way. Yeah. And I didn't even think to utilize TikTok for this. I don't know why. I was using Instagram and Facebook mostly, but I really started to feel like I wasn't getting any kind of response or traction, or I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. Her face was not being shared enough. And then my very first video that I put together was just clips of us, like sort of like B-roll footage of us taking pictures on Mother's Day. And I was nervous. I was terrified to do this, to put my face in the camera, so I put these clips together, and I just wrote the words like a little story and put it out there to see what would happen. And TikTok caught on really quick. Thank God.
Yeah, TikTok is, for all of its faults and whatnot, TikTok is a wonderful platform to, like, I think it's one of the better ones about spreading awareness about this type of thing, because first of all, there's over like 1 billion users on this app.
Yeah. So
you have a much higher chance of someone finding like the story and then it just spreading like wildfire. So, and now I've seen her story everywhere on TikTok. So, so first, I guess the way I like to start these is just by like, tell us who Layla is, like, what's her upbringing, like, where's she from originally, that kind of thing.
Well, Layla was born in New Jersey in 2002, and when she was about just under 3, we decided to strike it out on our own and move to Florida. We were in Florida for about a year, and after that, we came to Tennessee. It's kind of weird. The guy I was seeing, we had a baby. We're now this blended family, and his family was all moving to this area of Tennessee and Virginia, and we were going to be left in Florida without any family. Yeah. And I was like, well, we're either going back to New Jersey or we're following your family. And the cost of living here is really, really amazing. It's pretty good. And so we came here. He got a job as a firefighter, and we've been here ever since for about 18 years now.
Oh, nice. Okay. So Tennessee is basically home then.
Yeah. Well, for the kids, yeah, definitely.
And how, like, Layla, how was her, like, was she always like, how was her school life, that kind of thing?
Layla she's an incredibly outgoing, larger than life person.
Yeah.
I do sometimes have a really hard time describing her because her energy and her presence was so enormous.
Yeah.
Even as a small child, like, she just was lit up from within. She also was, when Layla was born, my sister was my birth partner, and she signed me up for all of the early childhood classes that they gave out for free at the hospital, and she took me and went with me to all of them. And I remember learning that my baby wouldn't be able to open its eyes or lift its head or smile when it was born. And then Layla came along, and they laid her on my chest, And this little girl, I kid you not, she went like this and like this and pushed herself, opened her eyes, and made this like crazy grimace.
Why did they say she wouldn't be able to do any of that?
Because newborns don't. Most newborns can't lift their head and can't open, like they can open their eyes a little. But this little girl went like, "Hi, Mom, I'm here." Like, I remember looking at her going, "Holy cow, that's a strong baby. This is wild."
Yeah.
And she's shocked me every day since. She's strong, she's fearless, she's creative, she's talented, she can sing. She's the type of person who like knows what they want, doesn't care what anyone thinks about it, and is going to go for it regardless of whatever. I always used to say she'd make a good CEO.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's I guess talk about what happened, or what you know happened, or the circumstances around what happened with Layla.
Yeah. So on Saturday, sometimes I get the dates mixed up, so just forgive me if I say a wrong number, but Saturday, I think it was June 24th, Saturday night. It's a regular Saturday night. I'm home with the kids, and I get this weird text message from Layla's Facebook account, but it's from her boyfriend. And it says, "Is Layla in jail?" And I respond with several questions like, "What do you mean? Why would she be in jail? Why isn't she with you? What's going on?" Right. And I don't get any responses. Myself and a couple other family members did call the jails, did call the hospitals. She wasn't in any of those places. Okay, whatever. We go to bed. In the morning, I wake up and I have this text message again from Layla's account, but this time it seems to be Layla, and she's saying, "I'm okay." And so I immediately respond with, "Oh, thank God." And she responds back. So now she's live with me, and we're talking back and forth, and I'm asking questions. "Why aren't you with Michael? Like, what's going on?" But she's like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about me." She's being very short, and she's not giving me a lot of details. "I'm with a friend. I don't have a phone. I had to use someone else's phone to contact you. But I'm okay." And I said, "Okay, well, you be safe. I love you." And she said, "I love you even more." And I went on about my day. Like I said,
this is like text.
This is text. This is Facebook Messenger text.
Got it. Okay.
So I go on about my day. My daughter is strong and fierce and fearless, and I honestly didn't think any of this. I felt like she had maybe left the boyfriend, and he was now trying to use me to track her down. And I have had relationships where I've been with someone who's very, very obsessive, and I had to go like hide for a few days to make the point that like I don't want to do this anymore, you know? And so I'm thinking, you know, she'll call me. I'm thinking she doesn't want to respond to me in this messenger app because her boyfriend can see, or ex-boyfriend, I don't know at that point. So if she's, you know, talking to me or talking badly about him, he's going to see it, and it's just going to exacerbate things and make an issue. So I kind of let it go. I leave it alone, go about my day, wait for a phone call. The next morning, boyfriend gets on her Facebook again and messages me with concerns that she's out there in the world alone and I can't find her, and she seems to have just vanished, and blah, 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 blah. To which I have a family member who was recently clean off of drugs. Mm-hmm. And she knows a lot of people that the boyfriend and Layla know. And I reached out to them. I'm like, "Find Layla. Help me find Layla. I don't know these people. You know these people. Help me find Layla." And we are able to more or less track her whereabouts from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, things get kind of foggy. We didn't know once like Sunday night into Monday, and now it's Monday afternoon that we're doing this tracking. And we're going back and forth kind of like, should we call it in? We know that she was here, there, and there until Sunday. Like, you know what I mean? And now it's Monday. Like, do we call it in? Is she missing? Is she not missing? It's very confusing. And I remember later that night talking to Layla's father on the phone, and he's like, we should call it in. And I'm like, can we give her a little more time? Like, for starters, I didn't think, because she's an adult and it's been just over 24 hours, I thought maybe they would laugh at us when we tried to call it. And I've heard horror stories about stuff like that. I follow true crime, you know. How many stories start out with, well, they said it wasn't enough time. Yep. So I was like, let's wait until the morning. Usually if she calls early in the morning. Let's give her till 8 a.m. If not, I'll pick up the phone. Well, we can call together. Well, he doesn't want to wait. I go to bed. He calls it in. Detectives go to the boyfriend's house first, to which he responds like, I've been looking forward to. I can't seem to find her. I'm the one that notified her parents that I couldn't find her. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I give the detectives the information that I have gotten from this family member that she was with these people, and here are the names, and da, 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 da. And they open an investigation. That's how we started.
I have a question. Why did her boyfriend, why did he start that whole conversation with, is she in jail? Did you ever find that out why? Like,
I don't know why. I really feel like he, and I don't want to.
No, I know.
I really feel like he was just trying to tug on my heartstrings.
Oh, okay. That makes
sense. And like get me really worked up and worried, truly. Like,
do you think maybe almost like trying to push whatever happened to her onto something else in a way?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Those things run through my mind. So many things run through my mind. I really don't know. But she was seen. She was verifiably seen several places. You know, she was on camera at the AmeriCorps Monday night, which they found that all out on Tuesday. And then the next morning, she was seen twice the next day. First at a warehouse behind that hotel, and then again at the creamery at the shopping center. And then she vanishes from there. Yeah.
And, okay, so I keep seeing these stories. Like, was she picked up on camera at all?
Just at the AmeriCorps that Monday night. There is surveillance. There was surveillance footage of her at the AmeriCorps Monday night, and no one got a copy of it. And when they went back a couple days later to try and obtain a copy of it, the data like cashes out every 48 hours on those cameras.
I don't know. I don't understand how that's still a thing. Like, it should be like,
I know,
stored in somewhere. Like, they should offload that footage onto something else. That's what I don't understand why they don't do that.
I don't. Well, I guess because you got to pay for the storage space, and it wasn't the best hotel in the world.
And there was no like cameras at the ice cream place.
Apparently not. Apparently, we were pretty shocked at how few cameras were in that area at all. There are tons of cameras there now.
Of course.
But there weren't very many at all in that area.
And I keep reading, she was without shoes. Is that correct?
That's what witnesses reported. Barefooted. At least she was barefooted that Tuesday. She was barefooted that Monday night. I don't know about the days leading up to that, but that Monday night and that Tuesday, she was barefoot, black leggings, white tank top, bare feet.
That's so bizarre. Like, why would she be outside without her shoes?
I don't know. Like, there's so many things that just don't even sound like her to me right now. Like, she slept in the woods.
Has anyone said how she appeared to look in terms of like her demeanor?
that she seemed afraid. That she seemed afraid of something, but I've heard multiple different reasons that she could seem afraid. Possibly the management at AmeriCorps, where she was there visiting someone and she did not have a room. Possibly because at some point the witnesses said that she was like knocking on doors that were not hers. It seemed that she had forgotten what door she was visiting. And at some, possibly, allegedly, someone from management might have spoken to her and said, hey, you're causing a ruckus. I'm going to have to trespass you, put you on the trespass list, and you're going to have to go. And I guess the ruckus that had happened, allegedly, possibly, that had happened that sent her running off into the woods was the police pulled in, and they were going to a different area of the parking lot to deal with something else, but maybe she figured that maybe she figured that management did call and trespass her or whatever, and so that's why she took off. I don't know.
Yeah, and she wasn't actually, so like you said, she wasn't staying there. She was just visiting someone who was there.
Yes.
Has anyone talked to that person?
He's been spoken to, yes, interviewed. Pretty much everyone has had more than one interview that has seen her in all of those days leading up to her disappearance.
Interviews with police?
Yes.
Yeah, and does that include her boyfriend?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And is he being cooperative?
As far as I can tell, as far as what I've been told, yes.
Right. And where was she living at the time?
With the boyfriend at his mother's house.
Oh, okay. And is her belongings all there still?
He said he's got some of her things boxed up. We were actually having a conversation the other day about a possible trade because I emptied out Layla's storage unit a few months ago, and I've had all of their stuff in my shed, and there's like a big box of his clothes and his shoes that are just sitting there. So we were talking about a possible trade. I don't know what items he still has there. I guess I'll find out when I get the stuff traded out.
Has he been, has he or anyone been polygraphed?
He was.
And did he know the results?
From what I understand, it was inconclusive. There was not, they couldn't tell either way.
A lot of times, polygraph tests a lot of times aren't really the greatest tool for like knowing the actual truth, but it is a great tool for trying to get someone to admit something.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes if they're like, well, you didn't pass, they're like, well, shoot, okay.
Right, I hear that.
That inconclusive thing is always like, dang it. It's always like, they're not going to say anything now if it's inconclusive because...
Right, yes.
Do you, or I guess I should say, like, does anyone consider him to be a suspect in this?
As far as I understand, as far as I've been told, he's not like super high on the list. He might be considered a person of interest, but I don't believe, from what I've been told, that he is like prime suspect number one or anything like that. I don't want to use the word cleared because I don't think it's that cut and dry. Yeah. But as of now, I don't believe that they are really considering him as top suspect or anything.
Is there anyone? Have they told you if they've actually like interviewed anyone that may possibly be an actual suspect in this?
They have not said to me. There came a point towards the end of August, beginning of September, where the regular updates kind of slowed down, and they started to get very quiet about the investigation.
Right.
I'm sure there are several reasons for that.
And she, for last I checked, she is still considered endangered missing, right?
Yes.
So this isn't like a situation where they feel she disappeared on her own accord.
Right.
This is, they feel like something.
Exactly.
I don't want to say necessarily foul play, but you know, they feel something more on that side of things than they do about her just like running away from something.
Right.
Right. And have they pinged her cell phone or anything like that?
She did not have a phone on her.
Oh.
She and the boyfriend had been sharing a phone. That's why she had to log into her account from her friend's phone to message me that morning.
Okay. And did she have any like debit or credit cards that they could like ever trace or anything?
From what I understand, all of her like wallet and cards and stuff were left behind at the house.
Yeah, that's yeah, the fact that she left everything behind and she was barefoot.
It's a very confusing, wild situation.
Has anyone said there's been like sightings of her, like that you know of? I mean, in these stories,
I've had so many tips called in, and people have sent me pictures, like inconspicuous pictures of different, like, but it's never her, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, especially now, the one downside to like the social media aspect is because you reach so many people, you're gonna get a lot of. And
that's okay. That's okay. I'll go through them all. Because you don't know which one might end up being her. Correct. So send them in. You think you see her, snap me a picture if you can. Also, if you think you are looking at a missing person, try to look for cameras in the area, surveillance, and take down where they might be. Try to, like, if you don't feel like comfortable to approach, and you really shouldn't approach a situation like that anyway, but if you're like in a parking lot and you're like, I think that's so-and-so and they're missing and look for surveillance footage. If they're in a vehicle, try to write down, you know, the license plate number, like take it all in if you can. Because one of the things that's been really hard is the sightings, the possible sightings that don't have any cameras, don't have any photos that go with, then you're really just left to wonder.
Right. And you know, it can be hard for police to like follow up on every single one of them.
Every single one, exactly.
Because I know a lot of times it's like a resource issue, just the NIM not having enough manpower to like investigate every single tip.
Right.
And that's So I agree. Like if you see something, make note of everything around you, like the camera placement. Try to take an inconspicuous picture. We all have
photos and footage help big time.
I mean, pretty much the majority of us have some kind of smart device on us to take a picture. So, you know, if you can do it from afar, zoom in with your camera and like, you know, because you never know. This may be a tough question to answer, but was there anything like going on in her life that may be concerning that may have led to something foul play at all that you're aware of?
I don't believe so. As far as there was a lot going on with Layla as far as like her personally.
Right.
We lost my dad a couple years ago, and that was shortly after her daughter was born. Layla was already struggling with postpartum depression.
Sure.
And when we lost Daddy, it just gutted both of us.
Yeah.
And then a few months after that is when she started seeing the boyfriend. And the relationship to me seemed not healthy. And I don't want to put it on either one person, but it just wasn't healthy. It was codependent. It was kind of toxic. It eventually got to the point where the two of them, like, you never saw one without the other. Like, right. I never got to spend any time with her privately because they were just so glued together, you know? And then there towards the end, she was struggling with some harder issues, some addiction problems, sure. Which was strange for her because her whole life she was very anti-drugs. She was even like super judgmental towards people struggling with addiction. And she had kicked a roommate out at one point because the roommate had stumbled into some kind of addiction. She left a couple of boyfriends. And I'm going to say this allegedly, when she and the boyfriend started dating. A couple months later, she and I were having a conversation, and she told me that when they first got together, she helped him get clean. Mm-hmm. And she was real proud of herself for that. And in her mind, this was some type of fate. And because she saved him, they were going to live happily ever after. And I had concerns. Of course, you don't always voice them with a young adult child because they'll push you away real quick if they think that you're being too critical.
Yeah.
Especially Layla, she is very bullheaded and stubborn. She wants to do things her way, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says.
I can relate, so I get it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That part of her, that bullheadedness and that fearlessness terrified me, but I also admired it.
Yeah.
It was, weird to watch your kids grow up and you admire things about them and other things just scare you to death.
Yeah, I guess that's parenthood, though, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the reason why I had asked, like, if anything, like, was going on in her life that may have been more personal, I like to bring it up because people always will want to judge her or judge you or judge whatever the situation. But I always like to reiterate, it doesn't matter whatever she was going through on a personal level, whether it would be addiction or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter because she's missing. Like,
right.
And
I agree.
In her situation, this is clearly something. You get the idea. You get the vibe that something nefarious may have.
Yes, nefarious. That's a great word for this. Yes.
And at that point, it doesn't matter whatever she may have been going through. I mean, maybe it's related to that, but
possibly.
At the same point, it's still a missing person whose life may be in danger, and that ultimately is all that matters. I just get so tired of people like judging the families or judging the victims because, like, well, she was doing this or she was doing that. Like, who cares? Like, absolutely.
And I haven't been super forthcoming with that information specifically because I'm trying to get her face out there. I want people to share her, and I don't want people to judge and go, oh, I'm not going to share this person. They had this problem. Whether or not she had that problem, her family is still missing her. The rest of us are hurting regardless.
And this is your daughter. And she has, how old is her child?
2 years old.
And is the boyfriend the father?
No.
Okay. So like, she's your daughter. She is the mother of your grandchild. She is first and foremost, she is a person, a human. And that is what matters in any of these stories, is that there is a person who is gone. People don't just vanish. They don't just poof into thin air. And I get so frustrated when, especially when family members feel they can't say certain things because they know they're going to be judged. And it's like you want to tell people so badly, just shut up. Like, here's her story.
I know. And there have been so many moments when I wanted to and just let it all out, but held back. And I have tried to be as open and transparent as possible without being super detailed.
Right. And that's not first, it's also not, it's no one's business. Like, whatever personal things may have been going on with her or you or her boyfriend or whatever, it's no one's business. If it's not related to this, it's not any of our concerns. The only concern.
But the reality is that it could tie in. That's not necessarily because people, especially young women struggling in that way, are so much more vulnerable to something nefarious happening to them. It's just a difficult situation altogether.
Yeah, I've talked about many stories like this, and you're exactly right. It does tend to affect women, especially younger women, a lot more. And it's it's such a freaking scary world that you just never know. And someone's so the interesting thing is that this is in in Tennessee. Do you know if the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has ever been involved in this?
Yeah, they are. TBI is involved.
Are they actively helping you?
They aren't like speaking to me personally.
Oh, okay.
I do have a private investigator.
Nice.
And he kind of runs point with the TBI.
Sure.
And I do get, I wouldn't say regular updates from the lead detective, but just if anything new does happen or something, if he has questions, if I have questions, he's open to having a conversation. But they, like I said, they've gotten kind of close-lipped about whatever's gone on in the last couple months, at least, because...
Do you feel as Layla's mom, do you feel that they are doing everything they can about this? Or you don't have to say everything, obviously, but
yeah. I really do have a lot of faith in our lead detective. I really, really, really do. He's good at what he does.
That's awesome.
I don't know what more they could even be doing. It's a difficult situation. I can tell you that I know that they have a lot more information than I do.
Sure, yeah.
And they're working. I just don't know the exact details of what they're doing and what's coming of what they're doing.
Yeah, and that has to be really
it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah. But you also one of the reasons why they do that a lot is because they want to keep so many things as close as possible, because if a person who may have been responsible for what happened to Layla,
exactly,
if they slip up and say something that only police or the bad person knows,
absolutely,
that's how you know they got the right person, even by telling you where you may accidentally say something in a video.
Exactly. Yes, screen, and because even I'm in constant crisis. I'm literally, like, trauma is happening every minute of every day for me.
Yeah.
And I don't always know what's going to fly out of my mouth because of the way that my nervous system is just so, you know what I mean? I'm crying one minute, I'm angry the next minute, it's a lot.
Yeah. I can only imagine the daily struggle that goes with this.
And then to have to, I don't know, I guess the pushing to put everything online, like, I understand the necessity of it, and I know that I need to push her face and push her, like, but like there's so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Scrutiny that you have to deal with. Oh, yeah. There's so much why can't I think of that word?
Well, that's the downside to the social media part of it.
Yeah.
You're gonna get everyone asking you so many different questions. People are gonna be demanding information from you, like, well, why this and why that, and why are you withholding this and why are you withholding that? And it's like, because I have to.
Right. There are just certain things that I cannot tell the public, and I'm not here asking the public to investigate the case. I'm just asking y'all to share her face.
Correct.
And whatever details have been approved for me to share. We're just trying to get the face out there and show people what's going on, so that if they do run into her, they can say something. Or maybe someone out there who knows more than we do will eventually come forward, the more...
Yeah, and I always say the same thing that Robert Stack would say on Unsolved Mysteries all the time, is somebody somewhere out there knows the truth. And that person is out there.
That's true.
Always one person other than the potential victim who knows what happened.
Right.
And those people love to talk. They love to run their lips. And so that means they may have told somebody else. And you always have that issue of, well, maybe that person is struggling with coming forward.
Right.
And they need to know that it's like, you can always report information. Anyone watching this, or anyone watching one of your videos, or any videos about Layla, they can always tell information anonymously. They can call these places. They don't have to say who you are or what your connection is. Just say what you know, and that's it.
Right.
And that
exactly
the tiniest little things could help the investigators. You never know.
Absolutely.
And so many people are so hesitant to like come forward because of like them thinking they're going to be revealed to the world or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And then, yeah, when it comes to other people online, so many people are like, they feel like they deserve to know everything from like you. They don't. I just want to.
Yeah. You eventually you become like a pastime or a part of entertainment, and it did not occur to me that would be a factor eventually.
Yeah, that's there are multi-facets to the true crime community. One of them, unfortunately, is the people who just watch this stuff for entertainment, and they just want to be spooked, or whatever the case may be. People don't realize that on the other end of these stories are actual humans and people.
Mm-hmm.
You're her mom. Like, hi, we're talking to the actual mother of this person who is missing.
Right.
So it's like this isn't a like, this isn't entertainment. This isn't fun. You know, you don't want to be here doing this. This is not what you want to be doing.
No, it's really not. Right. I would much rather go back to my tiny little 500 followers and my very boring private life.
Right. Yeah.
And have my family be whole. But that's not my reality right now.
Right. I forgot to ask, where is her baby now?
She's with me. My mom and I have temporary custody.
Oh, okay, nice. That's awesome. What about the baby's father? Has he been scrutinized?
He is indisposed and has been since January 1st.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. I think I understand. Is there any new tips or leads that have come out that you are allowed to say, or
no? And again, over the last several months, I've gotten these teensy tiny little nuggets of information that don't even piece together, and those are the tiny things that don't say this, don't say that. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot that I can share, a lot more that I can share.
Sure.
And it stinks. And that goes to the whole, you're kind of entertainment now, and people are going to eventually get bored if you don't come up with something new to say. And I absolutely hate that, but I'm also not going to make stuff up.
Correct.
I'm not going to
and also
harm the integrity of the investigation. I just want to share my baby's face.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is don't take your foot off the gas kind of thing. You know, it's like, who cares what people think? You want your daughter back. You want to know what happened to your daughter, and so you
exactly.
Just keep talking about it. And you have a large community of people, I can tell, who are very on board with this whole thing.
Yeah,
and want you to have Layla home. And so it's like, just ignore the BS, you know, and the entertainment side of this, and just keep on the gas and just keep going with it. Because the more you put her story out there, the more eyes are going to be on it. And it could just be that one video that
absolutely
someone sees. Because the other unfortunate thing to like TikTok is like with the algorithm, it doesn't push out certain videos, but one day one video will go crazy
and end up right in front of the exact right person.
Right. Or it could be a video that only 1,000 people see. You know, it's like, you know, you just don't know, and that's why you just never ever you don't stop until you know what happened.
That's the plan. I know that I've got to keep going, whether the world's trying to tear me down or not. Right. And I will say, over here on this app, people have been 99% incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Truly. Like, absolutely incredible. My Layla posts have only just very recently gone semi-viral on Instagram these last couple of weeks. Those people are crazy over there.
I know. Yeah.
I was not expecting.
No. Yeah, you tend to have a more neutral audience here on TikTok than you do on Instagram or Facebook.
Yes, they're very critical, and just those comment sections are nuts. And I'm like, okay, well, at least her face is getting shared with new people, I guess.
You know. They always say bad publicity is, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Still, yes. Yeah. That's what I keep saying. Like, there have been some different things that have come out that have been completely untrue. I share them anyway, and I just say, listen, this information's not verified, but this is great exposure for Layla.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Use it to your advantage. You know? Like, hey, what you just said was very wrong, but here's some
so. People are seeing her face and they know that she's missing. So
and that's, you know what? However it gets out
that's what matters.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's just, I know it's not what you want to be doing with your life right now, but you just gotta, and I know you're a mom, so you're obviously never gonna stop. So it's, you just keep pushing, you keep fighting, and one day, I mean, this is 2024 almost. Our technology is like just always advancing. It's insane.
Yeah.
And you never know what might come out that might help find
Absolutely.
And so you just you make sure people don't forget. And that's the biggest thing. And I have a tough question I want to ask is, and you don't have to answer, but do you have an inkling, or do you have a gut feeling about what you think may have happened to her?
Well, and this might sound crazy to everybody. It has been 5 months, and I understand that it's going to sound crazy. But my gut feels like she's still here on this earth with us somewhere.
That's not crazy.
Whether she's been forced away from us physically or manipulated mentally and emotionally, or because of the issues she was dealing with before she disappeared.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't feel like she's gone.
Yeah, and that's not crazy at all to say that. You know, first, you always have hope, and that's the strongest feeling you can have is hope. And there have been so many stories in the past where people have gone missing and presumed the worst, but guess what? They were being held captive somewhere, or whatever the case may be, and they were found alive. And so until whatever comes out, she's alive, and that's how you have to work it. And people are saying a mother's intuition is never wrong, and so people are commenting. So that is accurate, and you know, you have that connection to Layla that nobody else on the planet does. You know, and so you have that, and that's if Layla by chance is seeing your videos, or she sees this live, or she's seeing something. Is there something you would want to say to her right now?
Just that I love her very much, and that life is very empty. Sorry about that. Life is very empty without you in it. There's a huge void where your huge presence used to be, and I'm not going to stop until I get it back.
Good. That's you know, and you know what that says about you? That says that you're a great mom, you know?
Thank you. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect mom.
Sure.
I've made many, many, many mistakes with all of my children.
Of course, because you're a human, you're a person, you know? We all do. So it's you've done nothing wrong here, you know. If someone took Layla, they've done something wrong, and you just want her back. And if someone did something to her, You want her, and you want the justice for her.
Absolutely.
And so I admire this, because I've personally never been in a situation like this, so I admire your level of strength and courage and dealing with all of the nonsense questions you probably get and the accusations and all that. I don't know how I would handle it, and so I admire you and other people like you who are in this similar situations who have to deal with this daily. It's something that you should be proud of in terms of your love and dedication to her, I think, and that's pretty incredible.
I don't know that I could stop fighting if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I've never backed down from a fight where she is concerned. She had some learning disabilities in school, and I fought like hell to get her the services that she needed all through school. We've had so many situations where I had to go to war for her, and I've never backed down. I've never gone, well, this is too much. I'm never going to. I just don't have that in me. She's my firstborn child.
Yeah.
She made me a mom. She taught me so much. It's crazy. And I was actually thinking about this last night because someone had posted a comment or something somewhere saying, if it were me, I would be a mess. I wouldn't be able to do what you're doing. And I remember when Layla was like two and a half, small, we were still back in New Jersey. There was this case, Brittany Gregory, a young 16-year-old who had been abducted out of her home. It was a whole crazy thing. This was in my neighborhood, in the next town over, and they were searching like the woods and stuff in our neighborhood. And I remember watching all of it, and I remember seeing people actually doing these. It was the first time anything like that had struck close to home. And I remember watching her mom on the news, and I remember thinking, I couldn't do it. How is she doing that? I would be a puddle in the floor. Someone else would have to do that for me. Like there's absolutely, my whole life, I've looked at other moms in these situations and said, I don't understand how they're doing it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you dig and you find the strength. And then most of the time it's not even strength, it's desperation. It's fear driving you to do these things that you never thought you could.
Yeah, and you can't possibly know what it's like until you're in it.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know how you're going to handle it until you're there either.
Right. And when you're in it, things change. You don't know. You find out things about yourself, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even know were there. But I think what you discovered is that, your love for Layla is stronger than maybe you ever even realized, and that's awesome. And, now you do have at least, you do have her baby. And so like you do have a part of Layla still with you. And you're fighting for the baby too.
Oh, yeah. Hugely.
Yeah.
Hugely. It's,
she's a mom. So it's like it's, now you have a child who doesn't have a mom right now. And so it's just like, she's
the most innocent victim in the whole situation. Right. She is too, and she has no idea that it's even happening. But there's going to come a day when she's going to look at me and she's going to ask all the hard questions, and she's going to grow up one day and be able to dig up all this internet stuff.
Yep.
And that is something that like really, because I don't have any control over how people talk about the story or what they share or what they say. And it just breaks my heart that people don't think about her.
Correct.
When they put things out.
Yeah, because they're people behind a keyboard who don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't think about these things, and you know what? That's on them. That's on you. So that's their own personal demons to battle with.
I know.
One day, and hopefully there's a resolution to this that's positive, and she never even has to know.
That's the hope.
So maybe. That you'll never even have to cross that bridge maybe one day.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, I also get that if that is a bridge you have to cross, I see how that's going to be like. But don't worry about that now, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's just when you're in it, so many things go on in your head all day long.
Yeah. But you know what? You are doing the absolute best that you could possibly do. You are putting her face out there. You're making sure that the law enforcement is still working on this, which sometimes you really gotta put pressure on them too. But so
well, and I'm not gonna lie, some of what I do here and in the press and like push it, like I'm looking for national attention because I understand that puts pressure on everyone.
Correct.
Doesn't it? The people who may be involved in the disappearance, and it puts on law enforcement, like, you know what I mean? Without my having to be real direct and like do this and do that. Because first of all, they're not going to listen to me. I can be a pain in the butt, but then I won't get the tiny little nuggets of information that I do get. So, you know, the goal has always been get her face as far up there as I can, because I feel like that's what's going to put the pressure on everyone involved.
Yeah, the larger, like, let's like say some people like Investigation Discovery or people like Nancy Grace or, you know, these, you know, big people in this industry, if they have that story, then the police can't hide and they can't.
Right. And I would rather someone else put the pressure on. Right. I really do respect and have faith in my PD. I really, really do. I don't want it to sound like I don't, but I do know that like the more spotlight you put on a case, the harder they're going to work regardless.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but I mean, you also at the same time, you don't know exactly what they're doing and what they don't.
I don't. That's the truth. That's the truth.
So sometimes these larger groups of like these big, you know, entities can get that information.
Yeah, can be helpful
without you having to like, you know, look back.
Ruffle feathers.
Yeah. So you can keep your good relationship with them, and then the other people can be like the hard asses who are annoying the police, I guess. So
precisely.
So basically what I do is I will take this live and I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
My YouTube channel isn't anywhere near as big as my TikTok, but
that's okay.
It'll be there forever. So
yeah,
it'll be there until she's found, you know, and then that way more people can see it. And you know, because again, whatever videos may be out there, you never know which one might catch the right person's eye. So, so yeah, I'll have it posted either sometime today or tomorrow. Hopefully, if the download works. TikTok's been giving me some issues with that, of course. But
yeah.
So I will have it up. And then, yeah, is there anything that you maybe wanted to add or say?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate you sharing, Layla, and your story and her story. And it's, you know, I have a large community here, so if you ever have questions, just ask.
Okay.
And we'll do what we can. And if you ever, and if you need anything, just let me know or anyone else know, and we'll do it. We'll do whatever we can within our power. So, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah. And yeah, so just keep strong, keep going, keep fighting, keep pushing. Do it for you, do it for Layla, and do it for, you know, your grandchild. And, there will be an answer one day. I mean, there has to be an answer one day. There will be one.
I believe that.
Yeah, I know there will be resolution to this. So just keep your head up and just keep hope alive. And it'll come.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day. And happy holidays.
You too.
All right.
Okay. Bye.